everyone. Welcome back to the Don't Make This Weird podcast. I'm your host, Tony. And with me, as always, is the lovely Heather. How are you doing? You look radiant tonight. What's up?
Oh, thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello, little buddy. How is it going? I appreciate that. Happy to be here. I know we took last week off. I'm going to be straightforward about it. I was exhausted, and we were having some technical difficulties on top of it, so that didn't help.
No, it never does.
Like, I'm exhausted, little buddy. So tired.
Shame.
But last week was a bitch and a half because it was like 7 days on off. But
yeah,
and the whole trip that happened as well. So,
which we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Hello, weirdos. How are we doing?
Just trying to get all of these links shared out because
yes.
Talk amongst yourself.
I don't know if I'm in the right spot or not, or what's going on. Just so I can get on here with everybody who's joining in, hanging out with us tonight.
No, you're good.
Okay, I'm not seeing chat, so if there's anybody talking in it,
working on that right now.
Okay. All right.
Give me the chats.
Give me the chats. But yeah,
how was your week?
Glad to be back. My week has been pretty crazy. So for the past, I don't even know how many months now, I've been talking about making it back home so that we can be back in studio together, that we can do like our shorts and stuff that we're planning on doing, been wanting to do for a while.
Yes.
And I think I got some good news.
What?
I got a phone call today. It looks like I'm getting ready to head back home, guys.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
It's been a year. Over a year, actually. Just a little bit, slightly. So it's time. It is time. I started moving stuff slowly. Unfortunately, this time around, because it's not, it's a lateral move. I'm not moving up. I don't get paid to get my stuff brought home. So I'm going to need help. Yay. I'm going to need help. So, but either way, it sounds pretty promising that I am coming back home. And
nice.
I'm telling you what, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It is time.
So anyway, my week has been good. That was a little bit of added bonus on top of it. Things have been going pretty good. And so the prior week, that was the whole, trip to Indiana. I drove Curdy there, my truck that is is old as shit, but she made it.
Nice.
I had to stop a couple different times to give it a little bit of a break, but we made it there, and then got to see Dave and Guy and Brian and Don, which was really good. To go pay respects, because he mentioned it on Real Cool on Tuesday night that, his mom had passed. So, lots of love out that way. And, just to make sure that we were there to support. We've known Brian for quite a long time and doing D&D and whatnot. So, went to go support, and I met his mom. She was absolutely lovely lady. So yeah, drove out there. I know that you were working, you had stuff going on. But it was a couple days of being able to connect and being able to be there for that. And the drive back, I drove back to Caro. Got to the house, and that night I was relaxing. I got AC at the house, so that's nice because I don't have that here. And I'm thinking, I'm laying there, I've got this light that does a whole thing over, like Starry Night kind of thing, projector thing.
Yep.
And I'm laying there, and I look over, and I see this little black, looks like a piece of electrical tape, and I'm like, that fan is blowing that electrical tape, but it's on one of the wood built-ins that are there, those gorgeous bookshelves in the bedroom. And I'm looking down, and it's on the bottom. It's on the ground on the floor. And I was like, why is there electrical tape on there? And then I realized it was a freaking bat.
Yep.
This bat. and I ended up putting the blanket over my head and hiding. Yeah, because I was freaked out, and as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of hair, but this is actually my natural hair. So I was like, you know what? I don't want that little shit blind. I know some people say that that's just a myth, but I was like, no, I ain't putting up with this shit. So I went out of the room with a blanket over my head and shut everything down. I was like, okay, this is happening, and I'm freaking out a little bit much. So anyway, I got that little bit of relaxation there after, I went back in, I couldn't find it. I don't know where it went. I think it went in the closet. I shut that damn door and was like, well, if you're in there when I come back to Caro, it's probably going to smell bad in my closet, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. So,
I didn't see anything in there, but
did you go in and look in there and you did not find it?
there was
like,
nothing in there, but I could be blind and
check.
it was hiding someplace else, but
Oh, maybe.
it checked out. There was nothing in the room and there was nothing in the
That's fine.
closet. So
That's okay, because I'm gonna be coming down. We have another celebration, of remembrance of life, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But
yep.
so far, so good. So I got more packing to do. Like it's that time of year again, because it was this time of year last year when I got here. So, I guess it's that time. Get my stuff, get packing, get ready to come back.
We need to stop making this a yearly thing.
I'm not. I'm gonna buy that house. I'm gonna stay there, and that's whatever. I don't care. I used to remember like growing up and being in school and saying, you don't want to get that title on your yearbook page of the one that never leaves, is never gonna move, never gonna go anywhere.
Yep.
So I was always like, I don't want that. I don't ever want to be that person. But now I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going home.
Yeah.
It's home. So that's what's happening, and I'll be closer to my dad, and get to figure all of that stuff out. So
yep.
I'm happy. I'm ready to go home. Ready to go home.
Absolutely.
So, but we'll get more into the dedication of the show tonight and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
But now I'm seeing chat. I only see 2 things over on YouTube.
That's all I got too.
Okay. All right, perfect. Do you want me to read those really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Jump in chat.
So my dad's joining in. Hello, you guys. Hi, Dad. And then Mr. Guy is saying, hello, all.
Hello, indeed.
Not my dad. So, all right. Well, how's your week been?
My week, it's crazy. And I know I say some incarnation of that every week, but yeah, with just working this summer, it's been punching me straight in the freaking face.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, trying to do all of this stuff and, between technical issues and just being for the sheer sake of exhaustion.
Yep.
I've not been able to stay on schedule for this. So, one, I want to apologize to you guys, but in the same token, man, this is tough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, don't you know? But yeah, I didn't do anything all last weekend except try to catch up and work and dodging raindrops and whatnot. And we didn't do, rule of cool because I didn't get back to the house here until I think it was 7:00, 7:30. And I was like, sorry, guys. So, yeah. And then we did the Rule of Cool Tuesday, which was great. And then what was it? Last Wednesday, actually, we did Jerks, which was so much fun. Had an absolute blast doing Jerks and just, throwing cards and talking shit online. It was great. I love being able to do that. But I'm hoping as the craziness of the summer months draw to a close, we're able to get back onto schedule and do the stuff that we have been trying to do through the course of the summer, because I think I've hit almost every single festival that we normally hit.
Yeah.
But in the same token, still trying to, work and apparently sweat my own body weight out. So
right.
There is that. But I'm thankful for it. As hard of work as it is, and as much work as it is, I'm thankful for it. And you know what? Here's the thing is sometimes you just need to unplug from all of this crap and just take a break. And I'm not saying that, you know, the engagement with all you guys is crap, but just like the burden of social media. Holy cow. Like it sometimes it just seems like you're running a race for no likes and no subscriptions because it's crickets and nobody talks about that. But anyways, you know, it's a lot of rinse and repeat struggles that everybody's dealing with. Working your ass off, not having enough time to do what you want to do, and all work and no play makes everybody just moody and bitchy.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely touch on that after you talk more about your week for sure.
Well, but that's the thing though, is that I mean, I'm right there with you. Is it's not, you know, I'm nobody famous, and I'm not saying that, you know, hey, I hung out with, you know, fucking Brent Michaels over lunch. But I mean, it's still one of those things where, you know, we're blue collar, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here, you know, getting my hustle on, doing all the stuff that I need to do. And I get the chance to hang out with you amazing people because, well, you know, I look at the friendships that we have cultivated through festivals and events and doing this whole thing.
Over the miles.
Yeah, right, over the miles. Like you know, shit. The Attitude Crew. Good God, man. Brian, you were just talking about Brian.
Yeah.
And getting the chance to meet these people and go and do stuff together and just hang out. Like, if you would have told me 7 years ago, I would meet people that I didn't know I needed in my life and not realize how much I needed them in my life until they were in my life.
Yeah.
From the internet, I would have told you were crazy.
Right, exactly. Which will bring me to a story about the internet and meeting people for sure. Yeah, I got so many different things. I'm like, yeah, I can touch on all of these things that you're saying right now.
Well, we're what, 12 days from our, was it 7-year anniversary?
Yeah. 12 days?
It's the 27th.
17th. Oh, I thought it was the 17th.
Nope. Is it the now? See, now you got me curious. I gotta go look.
I think it's the 17th.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I could be wrong. So while you're looking that up, I'm gonna talk a little bit. I know you're talking about like the working and you know, it makes it hard to do the thing that I always say is, you know, life is best lived. Well, how do you navigate that? Like, when do you put in the stipulations of, or setting the boundaries of, hey, you know what? No, I have got to live as well as doing all of this stuff.
Oh shit, you're right. August 17th.
Yeah.
2017.
2 days from now. How many years?
7.
Holy shit. 7 years, my friend. How crazy. Yeah,
how the fuck did that happen?
How did that happen? 7 years ago. Don't make this weird. Landed on another universe.
I was going to say, I think I exploded because we just kind of like, you know, seeped into all the nooks and crannies and cracks and crevices. And people are like, I don't know what that is, but it smells funny.
I'm going to watch it. So thank you guys for tuning in for as long as you've been. You know, it's appreciated for sure. That's crazy. Yeah. How is what's his name Strange doing? Oh, we don't know actually.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Every now and then I'll catch like a story on like Instagram or something. Every now and then, but other than that, I have not personally heard anything. So I know that seems to be doing well. We parted when he ended up moving away, and I think that was one of my big things of when I started to move away. Is like, we're not. You're like, no, we're not. You're not getting replaced. That's not happening.
No. We started this thing.
I'll be so glad when I can actually be in studio because it's such a different energy.
It totally is. Well, and I mean, I think a lot of the people that don't do this for a hobby or do this for a career choice, if you will,
Yeah.
don't realize that there's a little bit of delay
Hmm.
when you're doing this remote stuff. So trying to listen and then engaging to where there's not that delay. And sometimes there's a bit of a hearing thing because it's all digital stuff. So you're trying to listen intently in what your co-host or the guest is actually saying. And
Yeah.
then, okay, don't be on camera going, what did they say? Okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. And still being engaging on the little rectangle here.
It's so interesting too because, doing this like this
Yes.
and then doing interviews like this, it makes it so much harder. In-person interviews, like I absolutely miss that. I miss being able to have people in studio and actually doing
Same.
those interviews with people, watching people actually tear it up in the studio, playing
Yes.
their songs, their own like things that they've written.
Mm-hmm.
Just that interaction,
Mm-hmm.
and does it always work out? Not all of the time, but a lot of times we've had some really amazing guests. We've had a lot of really good ones that we were able to do the interviews with and to feel that camaraderie, that availability, or share that same space, and them
Yeah.
actually on point, even if they'd never done it before.
Right.
So I do miss that. I do miss that a lot. I do miss the studio.
Well, and
Let's.
you got something in the chat?
Oh, just a couple things.
Okay.
Wait, there's a delay since when? Elon and Trump prove they are not Joe Rogan.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just watched a great interview with him and Andrew Dice Clay
Mm.
and Adam Sandler. I thought was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like one of his first thing that he does because he never does podcasts and whatnot. But yeah, it was really cool. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just I can't wait to be back in studio.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was actually talking to a acquaintance of mine, and they were like, they're like, the show's different now. And I'm like, well, yeah, because we're doing things remotely. And I'm like, I miss the fact that, having bands in studio and whatnot, like, what was the last people we had here in the studio was Terry and Mary from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had them in recently, but and it's been a while. It's
Yeah.
been a while since we've actually been able to interview and in studio and whatnot. Yeah, it's absolutely different. It's I've been up here for a little bit over a year now, and
Yep.
and in those rare occasions when I was able to make it back to Caro and be able to do the show in studio, like big difference. A huge difference. The couple of the times when I was able to be in studio back to back, people were like, "We love that show. That was the greatest. those two ones were so good." And it was like, yeah, because
Exactly.
we feed off of that energy in studio, of each other, and we talk about. There's just more stuff because we have little buddy days, and we do things like that, and we're working on, just making stuff, doing things.
Well, and I mean, when you look at the content that we are creating when we're literally a couple of blocks away or a couple of miles away for that matter, it's, I got an idea, meet me here. And we'd go off and we'd do whatever. Like, what was it? Jay was sharing some of the clips or whatever the hell it was on what it was, one of the Mystery Mondays or whatever. And it was the, what's your name?
Yes.
And I remember that clip because I'm like, I don't fucking know what to do. Like, what are these? What do they want? You're like, just fucking stand there and do stupid shit. And I'm like, I can do that.
You can do this, yeah. And then I get out of the truck and I'm like, whatever. So he killed some toys, big whoopee. Like, he ain't shit. Or I don't even remember what I said.
Right.
Yeah, it was like finger phone, Seeing Curdy in the video, my little truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it is completely different. But I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get back to some roots and try to add some different things, like be able to tap into that creativity and have people come on the show, do more interviews, do different things, go to those events together and actually be able to take pictures and visit with people and whatnot. I know
Yes.
like Tuscaloosa was a little bit different. We had different couple visitors that weren't from town and from out of town, and it was different, but it was still such a great time. It
It
was a great
was.
time.
And I mean, it was totally different this year at Tuscaloosa because I want to talk about that for a second. Being a sponsor, I mean, we've been a sponsor this whole entire time, but like, uh, they got all of the stuff this year and put together, put the names and two shows, not just one, but like, Strange Friends Media and Don't Make This Weird.
Yeah.
And them to give a shout out to us, which was absolutely amazing. And to just sit there and not vend and actually enjoy the whole entire festival. Like, it was weird because I kept asking Melissa, I'm like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing? And she's like, yeah, relaxing. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
right. She's not wrong. Like we definitely needed that. So, and I think that's why like I kind of took the back seat a little bit this year. I'm gonna be honest, like
right.
because I vend every year. Like we put up my table, we vend, we're out there, and it was just this year I was like, it was all about just being able to just relax, hear the bands, and and
Yeah.
not worry about anything extra, not worry about breaking down, setting up like the table and all the booth stuff and all that. Like it was just like a my first year of kind of a freedom to be able to just enjoy just being there. So
Yeah, it was weird for me because I mean, I just kept looking and seeing what was going on. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing something. She's like, will you just relax? I'm like, it just feels weird.
yeah. There's actually a picture of you guys.
Is there?
Yeah, and it's just like the back of you, but you can see, the difference in
Where's
the
this
height.
at?
And so if you go on to Tuscaloosa page,
Okay.
they did put up the professional photography photos, and there is actually a picture of you guys standing in line at Savage Burger. I
Really?
think it was Savage Burger. Yeah. Yep. You are on there.
I got to
So
pull this up now.
I think that's a reason why like this year was different. It was my first year in all the years that we've been doing it, and
Yeah.
in yours that we just didn't set up the extra booth. We didn't do
Where
that
the
kind
hell
of
is the
stuff.
pictures at?
They posted them on the Tuscaloosa Facebook page. I
Apparently
think.
I'm not seeing it.
You don't know how to.
Well, it was
You
funny
don't know.
because
You
people
don't
were
know how
actually
to do
talking about
this.
that. They're like, "Bro, you're on Facebook. You're famous." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. It might be. Hmm. Find it.
I'm not seeing it, but you can look for it.
All right, I will keep looking.
But yeah, it was, and that's the thing is we've talked about that before with other festivals and other events because you know we try to network and get out and go to these different festivals and events. Part of the fact because you're vending and was getting the Dragonfly boutique name out there because you do some pretty fucking amazing shit. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying
I
that because you're my
appreciate that.
fucking friend. I'm saying that because the way that your crafty little brain works
Thank you.
is just it's fascinating. So you're like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and this is gonna be my new line, and I'm going. Did you just like what?
Where did
Just
that come from?
I don't. Sure. What time do I need to be up to help set up the booth?
Yeah, you're just like, what are you? What? I don't understand. And it's just like, yeah, I got this. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it all just kind of comes together, but I just get an idea and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna.
But it's really cool though. Is this the picture?
It's in there. So those are the photos. So.
Uh,
an honestly, just a good laid back time. It's in there. You're in there somewhere, but I didn't find the actual
not
picture.
seeing it.
Oh, Tony, you're fired.
It's not popping up. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so you got to go to the page. Durr.
Yeah, you'll get
Okay.
it. You'll get it someday. He'll figure this
I
out.
can count a soup.
You can count a soup. You got
Yeah.
this. So while you're looking for that, I'm gonna go back over
Go
to
ahead, because it looks like these are all the
chat on the
bands and
user
shit.
tubes. Howdy weirdos. Baghead is joining us. Thank you, Baghead, for hanging out. Mr. Guy says hi, Baghead, and louder. And also hi, Mr. Guy. In 126 days, Tim's. Not that I'm counting. And he's throwing the hearts.
Nice.
Yeah, love that. I love that. I love our community for this page. You guys are
Hell
always a
yeah.
lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun with you guys. So while you're looking for that still, I would talk about, I said,
Scrolling
meeting
through
people
it all.
online. Growing up being told, don't talk to strangers, don't meet people online, don't all these things, like all these stipulations, because 80s was a little bit crazy when it came to like kidnapping stories and things like that. There
Right.
was a lot of stuff that went down. So growing up, that was one of the first things is don't talk to strangers, don't get a ride with anybody, like, and all these things. And tonight I wanted to kind of talk about one of our friends,
Go
one
ahead.
of our special friends, Katie Wood Skelton. She was on Survivor Girl with me a couple different times. I don't remember if she was on here on Strange or on Don't Make This Weird. I can't remember, but I do know she was on Strange Friend or
I think she
Survivor Girl
was
with me.
once.
She might have been on here one time. So right behind Tony on the shade, she made us this iron-on of a space helmet.
Let me pull it up here so you
That's
guys can see it. So
yeah,
it's
like a
right
different.
there.
It's a different different version of the one that we had, and she made us shirts one year as well.
Yep.
Katie was I could pretty much say Katie, calling her Can Do Katie.
Pretty
Like,
much.
honestly, you say, hey, I'm looking for this, and she'd be like, can do. Like, I can do it. I can do that. I can do that. So, I think about her, and she's already sorely missed. She had a 7-year battle.
Yep.
7-year battle with cancer, and I bet her actually during the time when things were locked down and whatnot. She had started this page called Spirit Virus 2020.
Yep.
Her daughter Devin was the one that was like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and so she pretty much helped her mom like run the page, do the things, and it was like bringing people reading stories for the kids. It was like really based on trying to keep up the small ones at home,
Yep.
with positive spirit, positive. So, she started inviting people to the page, and I read stories on there. Like, I did some slots where I read different bedtime stories and whatnot as well. And then one time, close, almost Easter, she had posted on there, hey, I think it was like, hey, I seen that they did this in another town, and it was driving around with an Easter bunny.
Yep.
She's like, I kind of would want to bring this to town, like to our town, our community, to be able to do this. And instantly I was like, me, I'll be the bunny. I'll do
remember
it.
that.
And I had never met her. I had only been on that page. And so I agreed. I was like, I'll be the bunny, like, but I don't have an Easter bunny costume. Like, I don't know, I don't know how I'd even get that. I don't know. So, she ended up finding somebody else that had the Easter bunny head.
Right.
And then I had, those big, like, I had a king size, the fluffy blankets that they have out.
Okay.
I had one of those, and I literally had it pinned like a bunny thing, like, and tied in the back, and then wore a pastel like flannel shirt over it so it would cover like the pins on the back and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting in the back of a truck.
Yep.
And then I had white gloves on, So there's pictures of it. Like if you go to the Virus Spirit page, there's still that. And then so I agreed to it. Got the costume, like figured that stuff out. And then she says, "Hey, I know you can sing. Can you sing Amazing Grace when we stop at like Metal Lodge and or whatever the AFC homes, the different ones, the lighthouse, things like that." She's like, "Can you sing Amazing Grace when we get there?" And I was like, I would love to, but I have a giant bunny head on, so I don't know how that's gonna work." So I ended up recording it and then sending it over to her, and she played it when we stopped at the different places.
Nice.
So she put this whole thing together. She made vinyl Easter eggs to put on the side of the truck. She made a happy Easter sign that said we're all in this together. And got all of this stuff put together. She did the route, she planned the route out with Devin, all of this stuff.
Found
And
it.
yeah, so I get on this truck and we drive around. We drove around for 5 hours. And going that slow, it took us 5 hours, but we ended
Yep.
up like, and on Virus Spirit, she would say, "All right, guys, we're heading here. We're heading here. Next stop is here. We
Yep.
just went here." And then there's pictures. There's like tons of pictures of spotting of the Easter Bunny.
Yep.
And it was such a cool experience. And that was my first interactions with Katie. And I'm going to try so hard not to let this go right now, guys.
Well, and that's the thing is that there's so much of
Um,
this that's I mean, there's only a couple of pictures that I was able to find, but here's you in the truck as the Easter Bunny.
As the Easter Bunny. There's a video too of me singing
I gotta
Amazing Grace.
find the video.
Yes, I posted that.
So yeah, here's
yeah. There's me in the back of the truck.
Videos. There we are.
Yeah.
So there's Katie.
If you see the one outside of the
Here's
there are so many.
Yeah.
Like these are families when they saw us go by. Like
there's Heather. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, here's the video.
So I'm not sure how the quality will be, but Happy Easter! Thank you guys.
So yeah,
so that was my first interactions with Katie, and Katie, she was all about, like, don't get me wrong, Miss Katie could tell you, like, she didn't mince words, but
nope.
She was also kind of that person that was like, bless your heart kind of style,
Yep.
But she didn't mince words. She was very straightforward about like what she needed and what she wanted. And I think she learned that from the beginning of her fight, 7 years of battling different cancers, like, and she had such a big group of people that like were there to be beside her for the fight. And they ended up getting the name of Katie's Calvary.
Yep.
People rooting for her, taking her to appointments if they could, different things, Katie's Calvary, and she'd say, "Gloves up. I'm at it again," and she was just this little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Well, she kept fighting, she wanted to be around to see Devin, graduate, and she tried. She fought very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out it was posted on Facebook that she had passed away. So, and I was actually on the phone at the time, and I was legit sobbing. It was a very hard one. Like, it kicked me right in the
fuck
the
cancer.
And, yeah, absolutely fuck cancer. And she will not be forgotten. That's for damn sure.
No.
And her fight, like, it wasn't for nothing, because in that time that she was fighting, she touched so many lives.
Mm-hmm.
She touched so many lives. So anyway, again, on my Facebook, you can see the picture outside of the farmer's market and the bus stop that's no longer, I think, there.
Yeah.
Her, Dawn and Jen sat
Yes.
there and, took a picture together. 'Cause she came up and she said that day she was like, I needed this. Like, I need to see you girls. And it
Yeah.
just, that was just one of the things. She was there. She'd let you know she was there. And she'd come give you a hug and, just a fantastic heart. One of the good ones, as you said.
Well, that's the thing is that, when I found out and you told me, I was like, it hit differently.
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose anybody like that, that you've become friends with and you've cultivated these amazing friendships with, it hits differently. Like, any human life that's lost before the time
Yeah.
it is truly tragic. But like Katie she was definitely one of the good ones. Like she inspired so many people regardless of what she was going through. She was like, look what the hell I'm doing. Not
Yeah.
saying it's easy, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And, she fought literally tooth and nail. She's like, fuck this cancer. I don't care. And it was funny because I remember her being at the booth at the farmer's market. She's like, fuck it. I'll get them all and beat them just to prove it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how about no? But I mean, that was her little firecracker spirit. She didn't give a fuck. Katie did what Katie did. And that's just how she was. Like we were talking about it a little
short, nothing, like
right.
Teeny.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Fuck cancer. But no, it was, it hit differently. Like, unfortunately, I've been to a lot of funerals lately that I did not plan on going to. And nobody really ever plans like, oh, hey, on, August 15th, I'm going to go to 10 different funerals. No. But I mean, it's one of those things that just, it hits differently when it's someone that has inspired you to keep fighting your fight with whatever it is that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, a sickness or whether it's an addiction or whether it's, something that you're just struggling with, very few people know about. Yeah. And she was one of the good ones. She inspired, the best of us and the worst of us to go, well, fuck, if she can do it, why the hell can't I?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, she definitely, there's been so much love on Facebook. Like, her Facebook page is blown up, people sharing stories, like, and tomorrow is no, 17th, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is the funeral. So that is coming up, and I honestly, Tony, I do not believe that there is going to be much space in the church where they're holding it. It's going to be a service, and
right.
They're going to show up. Her Calvary will be there to say their final, peace and goodbyes. And
well, and I mean, like I said, and like you said, it keeps getting repeated. She was one of the good ones, and you hope just watching her Facebook page being, updated and people posting stuff on it, post after post after post, you hope that you can inspire people like she did. Because that, there was only one Katie, like, but the 15 gajillion people since the beginning of time. And we are alive and got to know the one and only Katie. Like, I count myself lucky.
Yeah, I do as well. So in honor of her, just, I don't know. I'm going to keep on pushing forward,
Yeah.
Keep on doing that. Keep on living, because life is best lived, and we don't know. We just don't. So I'm gonna catch up over here really quick. Time is joining in. Time capsule. Heyo.
What's up, time capsule?
Hi, buddy. And then Baghead said, Tony, didn't see you on what?
Rumble? Oh shit! Is that not working?
Rumble. Is it not working?
What the fuck? Hold on.
So I wanted to say that because
it's not working.
It's been on my heart. It's been on my heart. She's been on my heart and on my mind. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. So sorry,
guys. I thought Rumble was working, but apparently I'll fix that later.
All right, fix it in post.
Fuck it, fix it in post. Yeah, we got some stuff over on Facebook and Twitch. Louder says,
Okay.
"What's up, weirdos?"
Ah,
And
yeah.
Tim's over on Facebook land saying, "Shut up, Brandon," and didn't see y'all on Rumble. Yeah,
Okay.
for what see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. This
Mm-hmm.
stupid tech shit.
Got your back. He's throwing rhinos, but he's got your back.
All right, cool.
Louder,
Throwing
louder.
rhinos.
I love it.
Appreciate that, man.
So, earlier, like, tipped the hat a little bit
Yes.
when I was talking about the bats and whatnot.
Caw!
So you got, like, for how many years now? I don't know how many years this has been going on, but I started wearing wigs probably about 3 years ago.
About that, yeah.
2.5, 3 years ago, and I have quite a collection, honestly. But luckily, and it shocks me because I just been putting them on and not really paying attention to my hair, like washing it and then just putting the cap on and putting the wig on and just going. And then one day I stopped and I went, my hair is really dark. I'm like, I can't believe how actually dark, because I grew up with like quite blonde hair.
I was gonna
But
say, yeah, you're pretty
now,
blonde.
normally, yeah, and I'm looking now and I'm like very, very dark. But I'm thankful because it's finally starting to grow in, and I'm confident. Like, I think I maybe have worn a wig once this whole past couple of months, like a couple times here and there maybe, but
Right.
But yeah, I finally got to that point where I was just like, you know what? It's time.
It's time.
Got it cut, and I was like, all right, let's just get over it and do it. But again, I have a collection, so I'll wear them when I want to, and just kind of change the game up and freak people out. It's
Right.
fun. Especially at work when I come in with different hair and they don't realize it's me, and I'm like, oh, not working, are you? What are you doing? It's good times. But.
Excuse me, little employee.
Yeah.
This is some grade A bullshit.
Oh, God. Check that guy out. He's funny. Oh, boy. Yeah. 17th. 7 years.
Yeah.
19th. A freaking decade.
Yeah.
Since my battle.
Like, it's insane to say, to not lightly toss these numbers out, but to put these numbers out there. Man, it's crazy. 7 years we've been doing this shit. Not gonna lie, I'm tired, but
yeah. I get that. Like, I understand that.
What is it? When you're married for 7 years, it's like the 7-year itch where it's like, no, I got to do something different. And it's like, I can't. This is all I know how to do.
But we can, when I get back, we can sit down and figure things,
Yeah.
Try to figure things. But again, as we're exploring that stuff, if it don't work, it don't work, and what isn't working or what will work, we'll find that. We'll figure that out. And you guys, I hope, will still stick around and hang out with us and hear us be here on Thursdays and hang out with us, because it is appreciated. You guys really, honestly, at the end of the day, I think 7 years of doing this podcast, like, I appreciate all of you guys. We appreciate all of you guys. It's been a pretty wild ride. 10 years of friendship between us. 10 years on the 19th since my battle.
Mm-hmm.
And finally I got to this point where I'm like, I have real hair. But it took a while. It took a while. So lots of celebrations, lots of really cool things. And I think about coming from that to here.
Yeah.
Especially the 19th. It's where I get my fire of, no. I'm gonna keep on living, and I'm gonna keep on doing this, and I'm gonna figure out, like,
right,
how to keep existing, how to keep living, how to keep on and changing things up and figuring out new things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you, little buddy.
Well, and that's the crazy part about it is literally, here's 7 years. We've literally gone a week forward in 7 years. And we've literally done, don't make this weird, every single day of the week according
Almost,
to
yeah.
the calendar as we've gone through
Yeah.
the years. But it's really interesting to see how over the 7 years we went from being absolute novices of not knowing what the hell we're doing to now we have everything set up and we're ready to go in almost no time, provided that all the updates are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing and we're not having technical issues with microphones or cameras or whatever. But now having and I'll also see the platforms change the way that they've changed and what people call as content. And seeing that more of this long play stuff that we do, people are finding interesting and going, oh yeah, well, hey, did you listen to that conversation or whatever? Like, it's still so weird to me that people want to listen to someone else's conversations and then have conversations about their conversations.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to stop and like podcasts. When we first started, there was not really many, honestly. 10 years ago, it's not like it is now. Like, there's a podcast for everything now.
Mm-hmm.
But when we started, there wasn't.
No.
We weren't the only, obviously, we weren't the only podcast out there.
No.
But when we started, there wasn't that many. Now it's like every news channel has one, every realtor has one, I swear to God, every...
Right.
You know, it's just like, there's a podcast for everything now.
Well, right.
So you look at that and you think about, okay, so on this day, this podcast is happening and this is what the show is all about.
Right.
I'm going to listen to this one. It's about, scary stories and weird, strange shit that happens. I'm going to listen to Don't Make This Weird podcast, but I have no fucking clue what's going to be talked about. Will it be the same? Will it be different? What's new? Like, that's one of our things that we've had with Don't Make This Weird. You don't really know what you're going to get. I do know generally we try to stay away from like super, super serious topics.
Yeah.
Because it is supposed to be hey, let's have a conversation, let's catch up. Let's, figure this stuff out. And have these conversations. I hope nothing's going weird on mine. It's my microphone's trying to get me to do an update. I don't want to.
No, you're sounding good.
Okay, good. So I'll mess with that later. So I mean, it could go in any which direction with the podcast that we do. Is there things that we could add to? Are there things that we could take away from the show? Absolutely, I'm sure. And that's something maybe that we'll be able to actually dive into a little bit more when we're 2 blocks away from each other.
Right.
And, not having to jump on here and be like, okay, get on Discord so we can have this conversation. Are you available? Yeah, I could be. But I can just walk over to your house right now. Okay, cool. Much different, much easier. But we did kind of talk about like the technical difficulties. We've had a lot of things that have come up, not just me being up here, but like prior to that, which thankfully tomorrow, and we're not paid by these people, we're both going to have high-speed fiber optic at our houses.
I just got the text saying that my appointment time is confirmed between 1 and 5.
All right, 1 and 5. Perfect.
So apparently we have the exact same time then.
Oh no. Uh-oh. What's that going to mean?
How am I going to be at 2 different places at the same time?
Oh no. That foils the plans.
I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it.
Unless they text you my appointment.
No, it's mine. It's my address.
Kyle.
No, it's totally fine. I'm not worried about it. I do find it interesting though that how this show has evolved from a couple of novices in a basement studio to here we are. And well, let me give you some numbers real quick. Let me go over to our channel just because I don't even know, but I find it interesting. So here we are. We have 439 subscribers. And we have 691 videos. And we have Was It Worth It? Chill Stream, Guitar Fridays, tons and tons of interviews, a bunch of playlists for Suck My Deck, Rule of Cool, Initiative Impossible, Survivor Girl, Mitch's Fake Radio, Chill Stream, Tuesday Night Rants, This Is My Brain podcast. And the list of stuff goes on. So when you click on our page and you guys can see all of this stuff, it's just absolutely insane the amount of stuff that we've covered through the course of these 2 days in almost 7 years.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just holy cow.
Yeah. There is a lot of content out there. You know, and we have talked about what direction do we want to go. I mean, we're coming on, this is 7 years in 2 days. You know, and there are things that we can look at, things that we can do differently. But the thing that I appreciate the most is that we've shown up, we've been here, and so have you guys, and that's huge. Like, that's a big deal. It's a big deal to us.
It is. And I mean, you know, to confession time. When we first started out, I was like, I have no idea what the hell a podcaster does. What am I supposed to say? How is it supposed to be interesting? How am I going to, and this was my thought process, how much of a novice I was. How am I going to waste an hour of somebody's time while keeping it interesting in chat?
Yeah.
And I think I asked you that early on. And you was it you chimed in, or what? I want to say it was Chris. Maybe it was Chris, or maybe it was you. I don't know. But you're like, well, it's an hour and a half. You're never going to get back.
Yep. I think it was Chris.
I was like,
I mean, I don't know. It could have been. I don't know. I say some pretty funny stuff too sometimes. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, though, is that we're like, well, we're just going to call a spade because we have no idea what we're doing. We don't have a script. We don't run with this. You know, we are not a professional podcast, and somehow have become a professional podcast over 7 years.
Yeah, and in this time, we have met so many people. So many great people. And that's really when it comes down to it, you know. Honestly, I think that's my favorite thing. I get to spend an hour and a half with you every week. We hash out what our week's been, and we get to hang out with our people that listen, the people that hang out with us, and we get to talk about different stories, sometimes some funny fucking stories, sometimes sad things, but we're here. We're here. When we miss, we let you guys know we're not going to make it. But for the most part, we have so many shows under our belt, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and over the years, it's been a very interesting process and transition from one thing to the next. Of, okay, what are we doing? Who are we interviewing? We need to, you know, get better equipment, or we need to, you know, change up the cameras, or, you know, whatever. However,
talking points.
Right. No. Like, hey, we need to follow this talking point outline.
Tried it. I got too much anxiety. It didn't feel right. It was like fat guy in a little coat kind of thing. Not working. It was, horrible. Hated it. And I was like, I think after that show, I think I threw the papers up and was like, no.
You totally did.
Like, we're not doing this. It doesn't feel right. It's not the thing. It's not it.
Well, and you know, let me toss it over to you. What in the past year have you seen for yourself growth in this process from last year of everything that we've done?
So I guess within this past year, you know, the difficulties that we overcame, you know, before I moved here, like, I broke down, and I was like, I'm gonna miss you. Like, I'm gonna miss you, little buddy. Like, I'm gonna miss all of this, because that job, like this promotion went so quickly, and that's why I was like, when I heard I'm probably going back, like it's gonna go fast. I know that. But it was just such a quick process, and to figure out, like, you set me up, I have the ring light, half of it works still. You know, and luckily through this year I've got like a good mic and different things, and um I guess the growth of it is trying really hard to not we're trying hard to give grace in this situation. Um to understand, like, even though the content's different, and it's kind of been a lot of just you and I talking about our weeks and different stuff, and maybe some of it's rinse and repeat stuff, because not a whole lot goes on when you're not actually hanging out making the memories. You're catching up one day out of the week. It does make it makes it a little bit more difficult
Hmm.
to bring different content. It makes it difficult to keep it like lively with everybody. And one of the things I think that really helped us through this past year to keep on going is the conversations and the shit that these funny people in our chat would bring up to keep us, like, kind of keeping it a little bit more fresh. I mean, there's been times where, you know, we talk about some of the things that we're watching, we're reading and stuff like that, which I love going on that stuff. I love
Hmm.
talking about the nostalgia things. But I would say, like, that's caused a lot more growth in the past year, because it was really literally like, shake it off, get on the show, and do what you can. Have the conversation, and being real. I'd be up front and be like, dude, it sucks up here. I hate it. And I
Right.
tell you guys, I didn't want to be that negative person, but like, after so many months in, I was just like, I fucked up. Like, I don't know what I did. So I mean, there's growth there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was growth there, and growth of having to give myself grace also with all the hours and craziness schedule that I work. To be a little bit nicer to myself, because it's like I can't do a whole lot from my side other than just show up and have this conversation and see everybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's been tough. It's been tough because I there's that part of me that feels that, oh my god, Tony's holding this all on his shoulders, and I'm just showing up and trying to keep the conversation live with him, you know?
That's why you're the brains and I'm the tits.
I suppose. And then, you know, and then we also have our professional heckler in chat, you know, Baghead, he mentions.
Shout out to Baghead.
Oh, yeah, a couple different things over here that I want to ask you that same question if you want to, like, elaborate on that too.
Sure. Ask
So
away.
Mr. Guy says he's not there. Try www.lonelyfans.com/Tony B072469 main HTML. Oh god. And DJ is live too. Don't fall for the trap. Baghead videos are jokes. Oh.
Baghead puts out some great videos. I don't give a fuck what he
Yeah.
says.
Yeah, some good stuff, honestly. So what about you, like the growth in this past year?
Well, for me, uh, real quick before I get into answering that question, Sasha's over on Facebook and says, "Hello, weird people."
Hello. How's it going?
But I mean, to answer the question honestly, it's the growth. Um, being okay with uh not having things go my way and learning to rest. As
Okay.
crazy as that sounds, because you know me. You've known me through the course of the years, and since I've been riding this struggle bus trying to figure all of this stuff out, um, I've just been driven. Let's go, 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 go. All stop, no quit. Let's hammer this out. We're running, 16 shows or putting all this stuff out. We're guest spot here. We're co-hosting there. We're doing this. Here's a new show that we're launching. Here's some other people that want to launch the show and come under the Strange Friends Media umbrella. Here's two new people that want to sit in and possibly co-host when one of us can't do it.
Yeah.
And just like all of that, rinse and repeat. Oh, hey, here's another platform. We got to set this up on here. We got to run all the social media. Like, just fucking go. And not being okay with that, but being okay with not being able to do all of that because I was just fucking exhausted. Yeah. And like there was several times I'm like, I don't know how to fucking navigate this. And I feel like I'm failing everything because I'm doing it by myself. And you're like, look, it's okay that you don't know how to navigate this. And I'm like, but I need it to work.
I want it to work.
We need to do this for a living, and this is bullshit not being able to make money off of this.
And I think that's why, like, for me, I've never really thought of it that way. Like, I never really, well, at one point, I know I talked to you and I was like, dude, I wouldn't mind like traveling and interviewing and going around and seeing different places, meeting different people and interviewing. And a portion of that has happened.
Yes.
We've met a lot of people from all over the place. We've done some really amazing, like, I don't say amazing, but not too shabby.
It's fucking amazing.
We've had a couple that were just like, wow. And afterward, having that time when we stop and we go, good show, little buddy.
Yeah.
Good show, little buddy. And just feeling it, because like when the energy is there, it's like, all right, let's go.
Woo!
We got this. And that night that I came into the studio, that I'd been away for so long because, winter up here and driving the 3.5 hours with all those crazy hills and downhill and, it just wasn't, I was like, fuck no, it's not happening. I'm not coming back right now. Too dangerous. No, thank you. So it had been a long time since I actually got to see you in person. And and making it back to the studio, it was like one of those, oh my God, I'm home. Like, I'm home. I'm back home. And I missed it. And, one of the things of continuing on, because we had to, I made a choice to be here. I made a choice to change up my career and figure things out. And I knew that was going to be crazy because 10-hour shifts and, 5 days a week, if not more, is a lot. Especially at this age. I'm telling you what. So I knew it was going to take me in different directions, and it was going to be a challenge.
Right.
But in coming back to the studio, that energy of finally seeing you and being there and seeing everybody, the family that I have in Caro and, making it down to go see my dad and stuff, like, that brought life back to me that I didn't know that I was missing. I put myself so far into work that I was exhausting myself so that I couldn't think about what was really happening. I was like, there's so many things that went crazy in this past year.
Well, and that's to finish answering the question of what the growth has been. Is, just, I guess, remembering how good it feels to just relax. Because, me, if I'm not doing something, I'm like, fuck, am I supposed to be doing something? Like, and it was so weird because, like, when we have tech issues and things would not work out on a Thursday night, I remember I went to the Music in the Park with Melissa. Because we were having issues and whatnot. I was just like, this is just fucking dumb. Nothing's working out right now. And you're like, hey, I got called in. I'm not going to be able to make it. We can't line up a co-host. I'm calling it because you were having tech issues and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm at Music in the Park with my girl. And I'm like, God, this feels weird. Like I'm supposed to be doing the podcast. And she's like, it's okay to take a break. Everyone knows how hard you work. And like the couple of times that it happened that the schedules didn't work out or we couldn't find a sitting co-host or tech issues or whatever. And like it got towards the end of the night. And I'm just like, yeah, this this is okay. I kind of like going back out into public and meeting people and seeing things and like, you know, like even talking to Nicole, like there was a couple of times that we went out to Kretschke's here and got to meet a couple of the bands. And it was funny because Cody Vest, one of the most incredible musicians that I've met in a very long time, and he will be coming on the show.
Yeah.
Just holy shit. Nicole and I walked up to him. We're like, hey, come back to my house for a bonfire and a brewski.
Yeah.
And he goes to get, you know, paid for the gig. And Nicole turns and looks at me. She's like, that's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen happen. And then he comes back out and he's like, yeah, I'll follow you there. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, baby, let's do this.
Let's go.
And getting the chance to hang out with Cody and playing guitar with him and then going to Tuscaloosa and Cody showing up there and we hanging out. And like, you know, the dude looked out for my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just went, I owe you a steak dinner, bro.
Yeah.
Got that man a steak dinner and just like, you know, it was really cool not having the pressures of just go, perform, and do all of this stuff. Like this, all of this is a full-time 28-hour a day, 8 days a week, 45 days in a month gig. You don't get a vacation.
Right.
It's thinking up content, creating content, doing this stuff, putting up the marketing side of it, videos, get people excited for just sitting down and having a conversation. Like it's really fucking stressful. But being able to go out to festivals and go out to events and seeing live music and going to different shows, I got to experience that because this was not where I was living and being frustrated because it wasn't working, but then going back out into the real world and getting the chance to re-meet people, I guess, and like the open mic night stuff. It's so much fun to play on stage.
I miss it. I cannot wait. I will be doing several of those. Oh my God.
Like, God damn it. If you are a musician and you're not playing on stage, you are missing some of the most humblest pie you will ever consume and the highest of highs that no chemical will ever come close to. It is just, it's the coolest fucking thing. And I mean, that's the thing is, I guess the biggest part of the growth that I've experienced is falling back in love and being okay with not immediately meeting my goals, but meeting other goals that have been on life support because I've been so consumed with this. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I love going out and doing things now, as weird as it sounds, because I'm not so consumed with this, even though I'm still consumed with this.
Well, I mean, that's another thing when you look at it that way. People are like, how is it up there? How's things? I'm like, So I move, and a game store comes to town, and open mic night resumes somewhere else, and then I see like some of our mutual friends actually there singing, and I'm like, what the shit? But life continues.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, like I made those decisions.
Yeah.
To do the journey that I've been on for this past year. And,
right.
But it made me realize, like, the things, like you said, that were on life support prior.
Yep.
And that are so much richer now that I see it. And, our little town that we're from, it stinks like poop, like shit in the
rotten ass cabbage.
Yeah. With the sugar beets, I don't know how something that tastes so sweet and good like is so stinky.
Diabetes.
But but that's home. Like that's home.
Yeah.
And nothing made me realize that more than being on this adventure and coming back to the area and going like being able to actually breathe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get closer to home, and I'm like, this is where I belong. And things were mentioned of like going out and being hi, just people, oh my god. So that was brought up to my attention, and I was like, well, it's not a very big town. Well, you're kind of famous in that town. It's like, I lived here for a long time. They know
Right.
me. Well,
Right.
you must be doing something because they're excited always to see you. And I'm like, I mean, you just don't be a dick. That's number one rule.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
It's so funny you say that because I actually went to the farmer's market to, get some lion's mane mushrooms.
Nice. Nice.
And ran into one of the local law enforcement guys there. And he was in civilian clothes because he wasn't working that day. But he was selling his wares and his wire work.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
The scorpion wire work guy.
He's doing that.
Holy shit, mad some skills. Like,
yeah,
just,
that was so cool.
I was looking at it, like I had a couple of pictures and stuff, but just like, he's like, hey, when you guys were talking about it, he's like, I wanted to really do this. I just finally found a day to get it done. And like, it's him and his missus.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool.
She's there and like she does the full on like not dioramas, but whatever the hell those things are called with like it's one solid piece because it's the wire work and then it's like a little base that's all like epoxied in with stones and like little mountainsides and like it's just the coolest fucking thing ever. And I'm like, this is so freaking cool.
That's awesome. That is really cool. Because I remember, like, he stopped up. I think he was in uniform, too. Yeah, he was.
Yes.
He stopped over at my booth, and, you're hanging out there, helping out like you always did.
Yeah.
Visiting, chilling. And that's something else I miss so much, too.
Yeah.
But we're there, and he stopped in, and he was looking at my wire wrapping and the different wares and stuff that I make. And
yes.
Then he was like, you could see that little like glint in his eye. And this is what I love. I love about other people that are crafty and make things, like when they get excited to share their creations. I absolutely love that. So you could see like that little twinkle, and he's like, yeah, I do this for fun. And he showed us this wire wrapped scorpion. Like pictures of it, so it wasn't like we actually could see it, but it was like, oh god, dude, that's cool. He's like, yeah, I just do that in my spare time, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, like, when do you have spare time, dude? You're a cop. But we do live in a smaller town where maybe not as much stuff going on, but so that was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
something like that.
Yeah, and so that's really cool that now he is set up at the booth with his missus and is selling that stuff. That's awesome.
Well, and that's the thing.
Kind of stuff.
Right. Engaging with the people locally and networking.
Yeah.
Like the pictures, you remember the pictures, and it was pretty freaking detailed.
Yeah.
But to see that shit in person, the pictures don't even do it justice, like sincerely. Because they had... And, she does, they actually work on these together because he does the little different intricate stuff.
Yeah.
And then she does like the little bonsai trees and like just different, like to see these things. It's so fucking cool.
That's
like,
awesome. That is a really cool thing.
I'm doing a very poor explanation of what these things actually look like in person. And I'm like, you need to raise your prices because this is way too much detail for the amount of stuff that you put into it.
That is one of the hardest jobs, believe it or not, is naming your prices, because I think a lot of us are just a little bit too modest when it comes to not putting in the amount of time that it is to create these things.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are very pretty modest with their prices. I know I am. I know a lot of times I get told, what? Why are you only charging this or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's just, I knew, like, but I look back and I've got pictures upon pictures of everything that I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much of that stuff. And I've got hundreds of pictures of stuff that I've made.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of the same stuff left anymore. I was
No.
going through pictures the other day and I was like, holy crap. That's a cool feeling.
It is.
Like,
I
that's a
mean,
cool
and
feeling.
and when you look at this stuff and how even your creative part of that has evolved
Mhm.
to, okay, you see something on like Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest or any of these other creative places, shit, Etsy for that matter.
Mhm.
And you go, I can do that, but I'm going to do my own version of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go, okay, this meets the quality level that I'm used to, because you don't want to make something cheap and have it fall apart as soon as they pick it up off the table.
Right.
And people have been like, oh yeah, I went to another vendor and they did something similar, it just fell apart. But like, yours is really sturdy. It's great to hear
Oh.
that.
Well, yeah, and one of the biggest things, like, with creating and making stuff is I make sure that I research, like, the stuff that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the best glue? What's the best, what products are going to be. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of times that I find these crafts that are, like, a lot of Dollar Tree items. I will be honest, like, the tool and stuff, it's just as good as if I were getting it somewhere else. So
Right.
some of these things I am able to do. But a lot of times I'll go, okay, I can recycle this and make this. There's so many different things, and I get really excited
The
and kind of
watch
like a little kid.
necklaces were insane.
Oh, the watch necklaces. I have so many to disassemble and reassemble and remake. So, but one of the things is, one of the nice things is like I repurpose keys and make memories, things like that. And watches. I can make a memorial piece out of a watch, out of keys, out of eyeglasses. Oh gosh, what else was there that I was different? So many different things. But the watches and some of the other things that people would just bring to me and donate, like, this stuff's just sitting around. We see that you can use it. You can purposely make stuff out of this, and it was kind of like people just seek me out and bring it over, and if I wasn't at the booth, they'd be like, here, can you give this to her, and super excited about it, which I
The
really
eyeglass
loved.
lenses were huge with that.
They were very, like, people were like, I have tons of these glasses, like, uh so, and I think, they could have gotten donated to something else, but I did appreciate that they did that. So what I would do is I'd say, okay, you donate something, I'll make you a piece,
Yes.
because they were donating several different things. When I got the box of computer chips, RAM, all of that stuff, I actually made pieces for the lady that donated that. In glasses, I'd make a piece for them. All this different stuff. But in retrospect, it's like I got to repurpose these things that would have just went to the dump anyway.
Right.
So being able to do that, and then to actually see people wearing your pieces. So going out to Tuscola-Palooza, one of the best things about being able to do the vending there is that the bands would come over, and sometimes I wouldn't know, like, one of the ladies from the Motley Crew on the wrecking crew, or wrecking ball, or
Yes.
whatever,
Heather Metal.
stopped over, bought a bunch of my stuff, and I had no idea. No clue. But then I see them walking around after, and I'm like, oh my, it's one of my pieces, And there's several pictures from Tuscola-Palooza with people wearing, like, pieces that I actually handmade, and it's a really cool, it's a very cool thing.
Hell yeah.
So will I stop creating? No. Have I
Absolutely
stopped
not.
this past year? Yes. Yep, I finally got back into it. I'd say the end of, actually, after Tuscola-Palooza.
Nice.
Before Tuscola-Palooza, I made some pieces finally after almost a year hiatus. So, not doing that again.
Please
Not
don't.
doing that again. No, no. I love being able to create things. So
Well, and that's been the toughest struggle for me over the past year is not being able to create as much as I like, but creating in different directions and really helping me grow and be uncomfortably comfortable.
hmm
And I know I've said that a lot over the course of the past few years, but like playing guitar is so therapeutic now.
oh yeah, I bet.
I mean,
I
getting
bet.
back to, and we're talking shit, probably 20 years ago when I would play guitar for the sheer enjoyment of it. And then going to like the open mic night and talking to Mike, the other guitar player in the band that I'm in.
hmm
And I'm like, I'm in a mood, bro. And he's like, good, bad. And I'm like, I'm just in a mood to pick up my guitar, walk on that stage, and just fucking tear it apart.
Yeah.
And he's like, do it. And I got up there and we were jamming. And he's like, holy shit, man.
Right. Right.
And just like the more that I played, the more that I enjoyed it. And the
Mhm.
better that I played, and like just falling back in love with just the catharsis of playing guitar
Mhm.
and just having an absolute blast doing it and going, man, I miss this.
Yeah.
I forgot how
Yeah.
much fun this is.
Yeah. It's when you look at all of those things, it's pretty amazing to see like what becomes of things, what becomes of you in the process of creating,
Yeah.
of of making music, making art. It's just such a different experience altogether. And so when we round back around to the changes and the differences in our podcast,
Yeah.
no, we're not meeting with Rooster Teeth or whoever the newest podcasters are. We're not doing that. We're not there. But wow, what an incredible experience along these 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
The art of creating even just in conversation. The friendship that we have grown between us, the friendships that have grown from doing this and talking real talk and being goofy, the people that we've met that have touched our hearts, that have been in our lives, that have left, that have come and gone. What an incredible journey that never I'd never regret.
No. And that's what's crazy about it is the fact that we have come this far. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
I'm looking to another 7 years, another 7 times 7 years. I'm going to do this for as long as, I have a voice and as long as there are people to listen to what we're doing. And, obviously we'll grow and stretch and do different things and add new things to that. And of course, this show will also evolve, hopefully better. And, the whole premise of it starting out, and it's gotten better over the years, but, real people having real conversations with real people.
Yeah.
And whether that real people has just been you and I
Yeah.
and
Or a
talking
third
about
person.
our struggles or, us laughing our asses off at the conversations and experiences we've had with other people outside of this little rectangle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mentioned earlier about MTG Attitude. Well, MTG Attitude, Brian was our first person from, I want to say Rule of Cool,
Pipe Dream Gaming.
Pipe Dream Gaming, which has changed, was our first interview.
Yes.
That led us to, Dave and MTG Attitude. And then, we met more people from that. And like Time Capsule, they're from MTG Attitude.
Yep. Yep.
Pause.
Pause.
Mr. Guy.
Editor J.
Different people. Yeah, they're from MTG Attitude, and then they're people patrons, people that have watched the show of
Yeah.
theirs, and it builds, it continues to build, no matter what content that is being created. Like at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we have met several people and made so many cool like memories,
Yep.
experiences. And we were talking a little bit before the show, we meeting in Indiana, and the guys finally meeting Brian. We were finally, one day it was just like, okay, guys, there's a pool here. Let's go.
Yeah.
I packed. I swear to you, I look like Peg Bundy with a little bit extra weight, but whatever. I got the swimsuit that's got like it's a modest one. It's leopard print, but it's got like arm. It covers here, but it doesn't cover here.
Okay.
And then like longer swimming like capris, I suppose. So I'm walking out. I was just like, I look like Peg Bundy, whatever. I'm just gonna go with it. But going swimming and these things that I laugh about, because these are like the bonding moments and just the goofy shit that happens with people that you become friends with throughout the years. Freaking Dave decides that he's gonna try to lift me up in the water, and he says, "What? She's in the water," and guy's like, "Go! Why are you lifting her up?" So he does this, and I think he realized at this point, thick thighs are a thing, and I'm glad he's still alive. He didn't die, but I almost drowned him there. And
if he dies, he dies.
That's when he fucked up. So, but again, making memories, just the goofy stuff, and I was joking around like Guy and Dave and we ran to the store that was like I think 20 minutes or so from where we were staying at, and it just saying my goofy shit that I say, you've been around me for a decade, just going on stupid shit that I'm saying, and Dave stops and he goes, "Shut up, you're stupid." And he starts laughing. And I start again, and I'm just like, I'm going with it. I'm just gonna go with it. And he's like, "Shut up, you're stupid." He's laughing, just trying to tell me these things. And again, these are those moments, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, "Haha, I got you, fucker." Just 3 years of so far, like almost 3 years of that journey with all that great group of people.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Exactly.
And podcast. Yeah, exactly. Courtesy of this podcast, and it's created so many opportunities that we wouldn't have had. Yeah. Just going through our lives and never meeting a stranger, but in the same token as this has put it up on a world platform.
Yeah.
And it started out with the three of us bouncing around a garage for 3 hours, and we should have just listened to you because 5 seconds into the conversation, like, "Hey, don't make this weird."
Yeah, don't make this weird. Don't make this weird. Don't make this weird. Yeah. Should have just went with it. Went with it. But through this journey, we started out, with Joey, and then we had Chris join us, and
yep.
And this past year, Brandon has joined in. I believe Guy jumped in.
Yeah.
We've had different people. Nicole.
Yep.
Jumped in to take my place, not to permanently take it, but to cover me when I had to work. There's just these things that come up, and
yeah.
And as I see too, Baghead says sacrifice is necessary to reach goals, and it's probably stemming back from me going, "Yep, I needed to do this, to move here, to figure out that what I sacrificed was very important."
Well, and I mean,
it also helped me get some things, to grow from.
And that's the thing, is it's a growth process. You don't realize how far you come until you realize when you look back and go, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
Here we are 7 years later, what episode is this? 336.
336.
Of, us, two people talking about our lives and the things that we've shared and the things that we've done and the people that we've met and the experiences that we've had over just 7 years, but being friends for far longer than that. Yeah. And going, "Hey, remember this time?" And then people can actually go back and watch these different episodes when we had these events or when we did a live show down at the man cave and, you know, broadcast the whole 4 hours that we were down there live on stage or doing whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so humbling and so rewarding when you look back at the body of work that you have, all stemming from this starting 7 years ago.
Yeah. All of that. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Absolutely not.
And on that note, it is time, little buddy.
It is time.
And everybody that's been tuning in tonight. One more little thing, you know. As I come back Saturday, as we go, you know, I want to be able to reflect on the things that we've experienced and the people that we met, and I want to again just remember Katie on this episode. So thank you everybody for tuning in and for listening, hanging out with us for this hour and a half that you can't get back. 7 years on August 17th, little buddy.
Yeah. It's been an amazing ride, and I look to so many more crazy adventures of doing what it is that we're doing and meeting so many more people.
Back to studio. I cannot wait. So
looking forward to it. Well, hey, you guys, if you've been around this long, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you got all the notifications checked, regardless of what platform you're on. You know, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Rumble. Get over there, show some love. And we also have a Patreon. We got all the links in the descriptions and stuff. I would love to pull up the rest of the things and whatnot, but the channels, the featured channels tab, go check that out. We're constantly posting content on here. And hopefully as the summer winds down, we'll be able to post even more content. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for this 7 years. Give yourselves a hand for putting up with us for 7 years and liking and subscribing and commenting and sharing. Crazy. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We look forward to as many more as that we will be able to have. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Mr. Guy says it's been one heck of a journey, and that it has.
Indeed.
So thank you guys again for hanging out with us. Thank you, little buddy, for making this all possible this past year by putting this through, jumping on Discord with me and keeping me going. I do appreciate you. Lots of love, my friend.
Loud love, my friend.
See you later, Dad. See you later. And as always, guys, remember, keep it weird.